Today's scripture reading comes from the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter. That's on page 639 in your Pew Bible. That's Isaiah 60, 1 through 6. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But the Lord will raise upon you, and his glory will be seen upon you. And the nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes round about and see. They all gather together. They come to you. Your sons shall come from far, and your daughters shall be carried in the arms. Then you shall see and be radiant. Your heart shall thrill and rejoice, because the abundance of the sea shall be turned to you, and the wealth of the nations shall come to you. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camels of Midian and Ephah. All those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. The word of the Lord.
This is that moment that I always think, no one is going to share anything. And that is never true. And so if you joined us somewhere between 9:33 and now, this is Epiphany Sunday. And last year we all got stars that had random words on the backs. And so this is our chance to live out our mission statement that says we are all ministers, and that I am the pastor, and most of the year a pastor offers reflection. But this is our chance to be ministers to one another, and to share whatever news God has given us throughout the year. So what did you learn? How did your star guide you through this year? What would you like to share with one another? Okay.
My star was a flame, and I looked it up, and it means to praise enthusiastically publicly. And this year I also took over the CPC choir and did a lot of work with worship and music, and it just struck me that that's unintentionally, I didn't really think about it, but that's kind of what my theme for the year had been, was to use music and my time and participation on the worship team to praise God enthusiastically and publicly.
So her word was acclaim. I hope that we can hear each other. When she took over the choir, which I love that she said it was kind of unintentional, that this word was guiding her. Sometimes that's how we learn things. It's kind of unintentional, but you're like, oh yeah, that does have meaning to me. Someone else? What did your word mean to you?
When I first got the word accomplishment, I was like, oh, I don't want that word because...
Can you say it a little louder? Sorry,
Sure.
Barry.
It's okay. When I first got the word accomplishment, I did not want that word because I thought I had to accomplish more things, and I did not have time to accomplish more things. Right? I'm thinking where, when, and where. So instead, I've chosen to view it as accomplishing going back to take yoga classes and accomplishing quiet time for myself in meditation and listening to my CDs that are soothing, and laying on my rec room floor is an accomplishment. It is. It's like, oh my God, I need that time to rejuvenate, and then I feel so much better through the rest of the day. So, yeah, what looked like I could not do has become something very positive and restful.
That's interesting. If you didn't hear her accomplishment, she was afraid that meant she had to accomplish more this year and couldn't. It was a burden, and then it turned into being a gift to accomplish things that were good for her and life-giving to her. Someone else? What did your word mean to you over the course of the year? Diane.
My word was competence, and it's one of the challenge. I've always been somewhat of an introvert, and when I was asked to consider becoming a deacon, that was quite a challenge, even more of a challenge. confidence in myself and enjoying the challenge.
That's great. So confidence, and then taking on something that was challenging. It's fantastic. Peter.
Mine was time, and I love to play with words, but it really kind of, I thought it was a funny word for someone who, was 58 years old at that point, and was retired, and had lots of time. So it didn't, it didn't seem like, I don't know, so I thought, at first I thought, well, maybe it meant it was my time. It was a time, I had just recently gone back to doing some theater, which I love, and that maybe this was the year I would do more theater. So that's what I took it as for the first couple of weeks, and I actually did go out and I got into a new play. And then on the 24th, my brother had his car accident. And I began to realize during that time, as I look back on it, that time was something that could be measured, and something that could also be very ambiguous. So in reflection, I began to think that so much can be done if you just get a little bit more time. So for us as a family, the first 2 days were really standing on the edge of the cliff. I'm not sure how to use words these days, but it really was. It could have gone anywhere. And the doctors said to us, this needs time. Time will tell. We don't know what's going to happen. And fortunately, time was in his favor, and he recovered. And in time, at that point, meant watching him and helping him to recover fully.
Yeah.
Slow process at times, then all of a sudden a gigantic leap, and then some slow process again. But it was something to be sort of savored and enjoyed and really liked and looked forward to. And then as the year closed, we spent time with my brother. And if I could say one thing that I noticed that has come out of my brother is that he's begun to live in the moment. He's begun to live in the time that is given to him now. And he shared some very special things with us at Christmas. But mainly the one that he was always sort of postponing happiness, or postponing understanding his accomplishments, postponing taking the time to recognize the wonderful things that are around him, and that he had sort of stopped doing that he was going to try his best to live in the moment and be aware of all the wonderful things that he had right now. So it was really a wonderful word for me, because it changed throughout the year, and all of them were just so true.
Yeah. Also love that you applied the word to other people around you, right? That I think sometimes we could get into this kind of self-serving, dare I say, narcissistic attitude of like that the star's just for me, right? But that's not true. Like we have a gift; it's to give away also, and so I like that you applied it to what happened with Robert. Other people's stars, what did they mean to you over the course of the year? Yes, ma'am.
I always have the word joy in my vocabulary. This is a very strong word that I really like to have every day. Because joy is putting Jesus first, others, and yourself last. And I've learned to do that, and I always have peace and joy in my life.
Heather, what was your word?
I had the word consecrate, which didn't seem like a lot of fun in January. And then, so I was like, what am I going to do with this word? And so I thought of symbols, but I'm not very into things, so symbols didn't have a lot of meaning to me. So as I was trying to come up with symbols, I went to the word believe. And what do we believe? And then I thought about the history a little bit, and what did people, especially in Bible stories, what did they have to believe because they weren't ready to understand? And what we understand now, and we don't have to just believe, and what new things do we have to believe because we're not ready to understand? So believe that in accepting things like war and abuse, and what do we just have to accept and
we get are like sometimes everyday words like time, and then words that we just never use in sentences in public. Mike, were you going to say something?
I had a presentation. I tried to switch it with the house and she was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going with presentation, but I got to thinking about it. And I thought of something. She would tell me often when I'm saying I sing like a man. I said, wow, that's interesting. I didn't think of it that way. What I've learned over the time, instead of saying, when you're talking to someone about something, it says that you should, it's how you feel. And then kind of being more compassionate with it rather than trying to get my point of view.
Wow. So it's changing how you present. Yeah, John.
I had the word quietness.
Quietness?
And, my two boys, Anthony and Ashton, are both for sure I picked the wrong word. So, I just, but, the funny thing is that sometimes, you just put something down and go back to it, put something down and go back to it, and then the meaning starts to make its presence known to you.
Yeah.
And, when I started to get in touch with, it's kind of like what Pete was saying, that, his initial reaction, and then after a little while, it started to, make itself apparent. And I really started to strive for some quiet time for myself. And it really started to help me, just to kind of gather my thoughts, just to kind of have my own alone time. And, that always helps my relationship with God, but also my relationship with myself. And I think that was the biggest gift, was just taking time for myself, remembering, when I do have some alone time, just be quiet, just be still with myself. And it was like my own little gift to myself, and just, gave me just a better outlook for things.
That's great. Yeah, what was your word?
Commitment. And initially, last year I thought, commitment. I've been trying to lose weight for a long time. So, we focus on that part first. I lost 13 pounds. I kept it off for a year, have a lot more to go. But as the year went on, that word didn't have anything to do with weight loss. It had to do with commitment to my family, to keep me in. And it was sitting in my medicine cabinet, so every day I would see it. I'd open the cabinet, and it would remind me to say a little prayer for them, and to reach out, to text, inquire, Facebook, whatever. And I think it kind of kept me going, And I think the result is, I think we have a stronger commitment, at least with Pete and Vanessa and his new baby. And it kind of triggered a commitment within our family, I think, to share a little bit more and to talk about deeper things than maybe we did before. And I think for Ross and Dennis and I, it's made us more committed to one another in terms of spending time and making time for conversation, to be together, and to not take it for granted. So it ended up being a pretty powerful part.
Again, it's interesting that it started out personal and then had to do with other people. I also like that I'm hearing, sometimes the word is like, oh, I saw it, and then I could think about it again, then a couple months goes by and I see it again, it reminds me. And then sometimes your stories are every day, I saw the word and had to think about it again, Someone else? Yeah? Well, you get to get your new word this year. And then I'm going to give you an option of, I have a very brief reflection as I think about Epiphany and kind of the meaning of Epiphany in a theological sense, but I'm going to give you an option of, would you like the reflection behind door number 1, 2, or 3? So, would you play something for them to get their star? Here's first.
beginning. Uniqueness.
Uniqueness.
Deliverance.
Deliverance.
Joy.
Joy. This is a great one for you guys.
Listening.
Listening.
Availability.
Availability. Tough. Community.
Tranquility.
Tranquility.
Cleansing.
Cleansing. Wow. Okay, so those who would like a short reflection behind door number 1, raise your hand. You have door number 1, 2, or 3. Door number 1. Door number 2. Door number 3. Wow, all right, door number 3 it is. So, once upon a time, Joseph and Mary had a baby, and they had a baby, as you know, in Bethlehem, right?
Yeah.
And while they were in Bethlehem, they were visited by a bunch of people who were staying at an inn because there was a big census.
Yeah.
And they had that baby amidst the family in this inn because there wasn't any room in the guest houses, and they stayed in the downstairs area where the animals were. And that's where the baby was born. I wonder if the animals sniffed at his hair, tried to snip at his feet, right? Yeah. I wonder if the kids were all around cooing because it was the family room. But then, when the baby was born and the shepherds left and the angels stopped singing, Joseph got word that he should flee to Egypt because it was dangerous for them. And so Joseph took the baby and his wife Mary, and they went to Egypt for a while, where there were lots of very tall buildings. And the animals stayed in barns because it was a civilized place. And so they lived there for a while. And then Joseph got word again in a dream. Joseph was a big dreamer, right? He had dreams, and then he listened to them. I don't know if you know people like that. I don't remember my dreams. I wonder, do you remember your dreams? Yeah, so Joseph was one of those people who remembered his dreams and then thought about the meaning of them. And so in another dream, he was told to take his family to Nazareth. And so Mary and Joseph, let's pretend that they bought themselves a nice little ranch in Nazareth. It has cathedral ceilings in that part. And maybe a fireplace over in the corner here, or a fire pit. So they started to make their home together. This was the first time that they were making their home, settled a little bit, right? And so Jesus starts to grow up, and he's not this little baby in a manger anymore. And I have only heard now once of someone who has a nativity scene with a toddler. But I would love to have a nativity scene with the option of a toddler. I realized that would look ridiculous when he's being born at, 3 feet tall. But so we have to pretend that here's Jesus. And I wonder, where was his room in the house, Did he have a swing set over there, in the side yard? Joseph made a swing set out of wood for a little Jesus. And did he have friends in his town? Did they have a preschool program that Jesus went to? And did Mary take him to the preschool program, and was it one that she dropped him off at and left him be there with other teachers, or was it one where she got to go and play with them and help teach? Was it part of their community? Did Mary and Joseph have their ranch here, but was there other people's ranches? Was it an intentional community, kind of like Kendall Park, with all these ranches next to one another, Did they have neighbors? Did Mary have to go to her neighbor and borrow a cup of sugar sometimes? Was Jesus friends with a neighbor so close that Mary could just step out and say, Jesus, it's time for dinner? Did Jesus ever ask, can I stay out and play just a little bit, Mom? Because that's the house when Jesus was outside playing on his swing set with his friend next door and the little girl down the street. That's the house where Mary, she's cooking something for dinner on that fire pit in the corner of the house. And the weirdest thing happened. For some reason, I don't have a Mary, so she's in there. She's deep into dinner, okay? And Joseph is like sort of coming out, and let's pretend that Mary is, Joseph, go get Jesus. It's dinner time. And so Joseph is getting Jesus, and the weirdest thing happened because these people that didn't live in their town, that didn't live in the ranches next door, they came to visit when Jesus was just growing up. And so Joseph is looking for Jesus, and when he turns around, because Jesus has sort of said, I'm coming, right? And he's behind Joseph, and Joseph gets to the front door, and there are these weird-looking, different skin-colored people, not Jewish people. And they lived only with Jewish people. And so who are these people, and why are they dressed funny and kind of smell funny? They look funny. And so Joseph, let's say, since every account we have of Joseph is that he is an upright, loving man, he says, hello. I'm Joseph. Who are you? And they say, we've come because there was this star, and we were looking for it, and we saw it. And it's taken us a long time to get here. But we've come because we think the star has to do with your child. Could we meet him? Because we brought him gifts. And Joseph thinks, this is very odd. I wonder, I should have said. Or did he say, nothing surprises me anymore? And so he welcomes these people into his home, and of course he turns around and he says, Jesus, come on, right? Kid comes, maybe. Or was Jesus just right there? Yes, Daddy. We have visitors. Go tell your mom. Go tell your mom we have visitors for dinner. And so they set the table, and they have this meal for these strangers. Do they do that? Did they wonder, how do we befriend strangers? Because the law kind of says we should keep to ourselves, be pure. There's certain ways we eat and certain ways we clean ourselves, and these people probably don't do those things. And were they like that, or were they inquisitive? Where are you from? What are you about? Did they welcome those people around the table? And what was their discussion like? And what did Jesus think about these weird people? Because kids are very inquisitive, right? Yeah. And they're probably pulling on the people's clothing. What is this? What is this? What are the things that you have? And Joseph and Mary, maybe they had to say, just stop bugging the people. I wonder what that meeting was like. And I wonder if you can wrap up this as the finality of this Christmas story we have. That what is your favorite part of the story? And what is the most important part of the story? Where are you in this story? And is there anything in the story that we can get rid of and still have the story?